Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is Stock Chart Analysis, an update video on Boeing 3D Systems and FireEye. We're going to start off here with Boeing, and it looks to me like Boeing is in some kind of big triangle, okay? We've got this, you can draw a trend line across the top, you can draw a trend line down here. I'd prefer to draw this horizontally, and when it's horizontal, it looks more like a descending triangle, and thought it was kind of breaking out here, but then this pullback isn't, a part of the scenario. So I'm not quite sure what's going on, but it's interesting how Boeing, we're in this little compressed triangle here, which looks like a symmetrical triangle. So will be interesting to see which way do we break out, although we are compressing out into the apex, which means you start to lose power on a triangle. But Boeing has not taken out the September highs, like a lot of, many of the other stocks have done, and like the indices are doing. And the other thing to note is that Boeing actually peaked out in January of 2004 of this year. So snap back out of this. So Boeing's had a heck of a run, and that's what makes me suspicious. I mean, we're going to find out real quick. Do we break this upper trend line or the down, the lower trend line? You could almost make the argument either way. Right now, I think the biggest thing is to just watch this compression that's going on in here right now. And look at this huge. This was literally the day of earnings announced. They may have come out in the morning, and then this happened. So it opened up, and then this huge sell-off. And then it's just really just backed and filled inside of this entire day's range for the last several weeks. So just have to continue to watch Boeing and see what clues it gives us. 3D Systems continues in a very solid downtrend. It gapped up here one day. I can't remember. There was some announcement. And then, the very next day it just sells right on back down. So the tough thing with this is that you're seeing divergence on all the indicators. And some of these downtrends, when you get into these downtrends, and the ADX, what is the ADX on this right now? 40. Okay, so you get an ADX well above 30, and it's really, you've got to be very careful playing the divergence in here for a turn. Okay. Now here you would have thought maybe it was going, but it didn't go. And, this huge gap to the downside here. So we're just going to have to watch. And, right now, all you can do is say, look, trends to the downside. But with this kind of divergence, it also makes me nervous to play for another move down there, unless you get some kind of a setup. So, well, let me step back on the wave. I think we had a wave count here. Let's take a look at projection real quick. If we look at the length of X or W to X and estimate, okay, this is why I think it's continuing to push down. It's just not done yet. Let me look in here. Now, I don't know, literally point wise, it would have to go all the way down here to like 16, 15 to equal for Y. So you get a WXY where Y would equal the point value of this. That's a pretty big stretch. So I think the main thing is we're just going to have to watch to see, do we get some kind of signal that, this wave has ended and we're turning up, and right now we're just not getting it. So continue to be cautious with a bias to the downside. FireEye, let's zoom back out of this real quick. And here's the thing I want to note about this. Let me put my crosshairs back on. Okay, so here's the low of this year, I believe. Now, actually it didn't. It went through it in October. But if you draw the line there, let me see if I can grab this, do a parallel line. Oh, this has a problem. Oh, here we go. Sometimes I have a problem with that. What I'm trying to do is put it across the top of that, and that is probably pretty close, and I'll tweak that later offline. But so right now, after you come down, you make this major point, pivot point here, and you come off of it, and then you make another pivot point here. I like to take these first 2 points, draw horizontal lines, and then see if a trading range, has developed or is developing off of that. And so far, you'd have to say that it is. I mean, it's trading between that range. It's pretty big, granted, it's pretty big range, like almost 26 to 41 and a half, 25 and a half to 41 and a half. So like a 16-point range. And yeah, it's tightened a little bit, but it keeps, bouncing around. It's gone to lower low. So this activity in here, you had this big gap, and really what this has just done is come back up and filled this gap. I mean, it looks bullish, but I'm a little wary just because, okay, here was the close right up here, and then you didn't, here's the trading range down here. So it has just literally filled the gap from the standpoint if you count down at the bottom of this trading range of this day. Now, let's look at the volume real quick. And the volume is dropping off, although not dramatically, although, last couple days. So that's another thing that would be making me wary. I mean, it's tempting to jump in and go, oh, let's buy it, but I think I'll watch. We got this trend line here, and then the fact that we're still in kind of a bottoming trend line trading range. I'm in a wait and see mode on FireEye. So, all right, we'll check back in here in a couple of weeks. That's it for today. This has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. Have a great Thursday, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow with another update video.